Okay, so first off, right off the bat, we have the man himself, Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
So, do you want to introduce Ty Simpson? These are your grades. What do we got here?
Yeah, so Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, pick 13th overall, 2025, second team all SEC, started 15 games, 3,567 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. I give it a B, okay? Now, hear me out, and I know that, like, Ty Simpson, he actually seems like a pretty cool guy, like, from what I've learned about him, like, just on a, like, human level. He seems like a guy that you'd want to hang out with. You like, he seems friendly, seems kind, but on the football field, he does have that it factor of like that, like, oh, I'm going to lock in and I'm going to tear apart this defense here. He seems to have a really high football IQ, which is why I think him and McVay had like their secret meeting ahead of ahead of the draft. And the pick has grown on me. When it happened, I was like most people, I was like, oh, really? Like, this is happening? Like, okay, I guess like this maybe makes sense. The more and more I listen to Sean McVay, the more and more I listen to Les Snead talk about it, I see why they did it, right? Like their actual their actual first round pick was Trent McDuffie this year, right? Because the Rams had the 29th overall pick, and they traded that and some change to get Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. And I think that's an A+ draft pick.
Yeah.
So then this pick here at 13, they got from the Falcons in the trade the previous year, which again worked out in the Rams' favor, thankfully. And a lot of people like myself thought they were going to go either, maybe they do wide receiver, maybe they go tackle, maybe they do another corner to add in there. Who knows? And so then they go to Ty Simpson. And you do look at the micro, like this season, like the Rams are all in. They traded for Trent McDuffie. They signed Jalen Watson. They're pushing all these pieces in to have another Super Bowl run. The Super Bowl's in SoFi next year. Why would you pick a quarterback at 13 who is not going to help you this season at all? And I think the more and more I think about it, the Rams did not pick Ty Simpson to be their quarterback this year, right? They picked him to be the future of the Rams quarterback position. And I don't know about you, but I've been on the quarterback carousel ride before, and it sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that the Rams are a competent enough organization to be like, you know what? We have an opportunity to get a draft prospect that we believe in. Otherwise, they wouldn't have drafted him. Let's go do it. Okay, let's do it at 13. We have a pretty stacked roster. We made it to the NFC Championship game. There's not a lot of turnover on the Rams roster this year. So they have guys in their prime. They have guys that are proven. They have battle-tested playoff experience. Let's take a guy that we can develop behind Matthew Stafford. And like, if you watch, I've watched pretty much every Ty Simpson, interview or presser since the draft. This guy gets that he just won the football lottery, right? He gets to go to a competent like organization. He gets to go to Los Angeles with beautiful weather. He gets to go and have an offensive genius as a head coach. They have a competent GM in Les Snead, and he gets to learn behind Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford, who's the defending MVP. Mm-hmm. If you're a quarterback getting drafted, there is not a better situation to get drafted into. And my last point I'll say on this in regards to Ty Simpson is so many NFL fans always criticize teams of like, oh, they don't let them develop quarterbacks anymore. They don't let them develop quarterbacks. Well, I've saw a lot of those same people when the Rams draft a quarterback to develop, being like, that was a waste of a pick. Why would you do that? Right? Like, and so here you have a team that they're actually, being like, you know what, we actually don't want to go back into, QB purgatory because that sucks, right? It sucks when your team shows up on Sunday and you're like, okay, like, if the quarterback can have a good game, maybe they can, right? Like I lived through like the Sean Mannion's, the like Sam Bradford, Austin Davis, the Nick Foles, Case Keenum era. Like, I don't want to be in that quarterback carousel anymore. You know, I'll always say Jared Goff stabilized the quarterback position for the Rams. Stafford elevated. And then if Simpson can continue this trajectory of high level quarterback play for the Rams, I'm here for it totally.
Okay, so I guess where my criticisms were, at least on draft night, they've changed a little bit. But Ty Simpson was pretty. I mean, there were rumors he would go late first round, but he was pretty well set in that second round spot. Do you think that he wasn't going to be available in the second round? I've got the PFF like big board rankings. They have Ty Simpson as a 29 spot reach, so almost an entire round. What do you think about that? Because you could have gone wide receiver, you could have gone tight end, which you did do in the second round. You could have gotten like a Kenyon Sadiq or Mekhi Lemon or someone who was going to elevate this offense under Matthew Stafford immediately.
Yeah, no, and that's a very valid criticism. I guess my like gentle pushback to that would be like, if you truly believe Ty Simpson is the quarterback that can be, the future of your franchise, that you want him, to learn and develop behind Matthew Stafford, why risk it? Right? Like, the Rams, they only drafted 5 players for a reason. Their roster is pretty much set and ready to go for next season. Is it really that much of a win getting Ty Simpson at pick 13 versus the second round? You could even make the argument of, okay, if with the first round you get the 5th year option on that rookie contract, that's kind of nice at the quarterback position. And like, if you see a guy that you like, take him, right? Why play with your food, right?
Okay. Now, why play with your food? I like it. There is like this, I guess, debate of, or maybe not so much debate, but they've talked about how Les Snead does have a relationship with Ty's father. They're both like football, like Ty's the son of a former coach. That Les Snead was one of the guys that Ty's dad reached out to of, should Ty come out this year? What do you think? And it sounds like Les Snead made a promise of, if Ty is there at pick 13, we're going to take him. Does that concern you at all, that maybe there's a little bit of, not nepotism, but a little bit of favoritism there?
Again, valid question. I've heard the rumors or conspiracy theories, however you want to talk about it. I'll say this: Les Snead has been a GM for the Rams for a long time. He is oddly enough, I would say he's an underrated GM. He's the best general manager in Rams history, and one of the best ones in the NFL right now. And sorry, someone's committing crimes outside my house today. But staying in school, kids. But I'll say this in regards to that whole rumor about like the relationship and stuff like that. That's part of football. That's part of pro sports, right? Like, we live in a society that is highly relational. They say, it's who you know, things like that. I don't think Les Snead would be a good GM if he didn't reach out and talk to Ty Simpson's dad. But I also don't think Les Snead would draft a player just to do a favor or a solid for a buddy. He's not going to put his team at risk. He knows what a special window he has right here, right now. And if drafting Ty Simpson at pick 13 was to like impress one of like his high school buddies or something like that, I do not have faith that Les Snead is that full of himself. He knows that the decisions he makes impacts a lot more people other than himself.
Okay, yeah, those are just the rumor mill gets bored in the off season, so we gotta
like. I'm not so people forget like. I'm not used to the Rams having first round picks in general, right? Like, they've only had one in Jared Verse a couple years ago. And so it's funny that like they pick Ty Simpson and the Rams all of a sudden become like the story of the draft. And I think it was kind of a boring draft in terms of storylines. I know like the frame stuff was out there, but like in terms of the actual like draft, the Rams were kind of like the team that did something that was unexpected and it kind of blew up, right? And then you have like McVay's reaction to it that was criticized, and like he's publicly said there was something else that he was kind of grumpy about, and he apologized to Ty Simpson that like it was received that way. So yeah, it's just sort of interesting the way that the rumor mill kind of went in full swing.
Yeah, and there's always the chance that like Sean's not lying. I'm not saying that's true, but like we live in a society now with phones being everywhere that everything is so analyzed, like
hyper-analyzed,
body language, tone. Like these public figures have to be on their A game all the time. If you slip up, someone's going to read into it. I mean, there are body language experts on the news who come in and they're like, oh, well, they gave him a side hug and instead of like a full frontal, they hate each other. Like, it's just like, weird stuff like that. When like humans are going to be human, they do stupid things. Like it's usually not that deep, but Sean McVay was the victim of that on draft night.
Totally.
You gave this a B, which is a good grade, but what kept this from being an A? Why is this not an A pick?
Yeah, so I give it a B just for the sole reason of it's not a bad pick getting a quarterback to, the Rams did have a need at the backup quarterback position. I don't think that they necessarily wanted Stetson Bennett to be that, number 2. Jimmy Garoppolo looks like he's going to retire. So the Rams had a need at the backup quarterback position, but I can't help but think like, okay, there's players they could have drafted there that would have helped right now. Like they could have been a starter this season, right? So I didn't feel comfortable giving it anything less than a B because I don't think it's a bad pick for the reasons that the Rams did it. And the reality is only time will tell is if this was a good pick or not. And like, I hope that Ty Simpson, he learns from Matthew Stafford, he learns from McVay, and he just like he's a human sponge so that when the time comes for him to get his opportunity to be, the Rams starting quarterback, that he just plays lights out. Like that's the hope, right? And then obviously like my pick, like, oh, Payo Time only give him a B. Obviously, all the like, well, actually people on the internet will be like, he should have been an A+. Like, I'm just a dude on the internet that loves the Rams. My grade won't matter if, Ty Simpson proves me wrong. And I'll be happy for that. But I didn't feel comfortable giving it anything more than a B, just because, to go back to, the very valid criticisms of like, it doesn't help the Rams this season,